Hi there. Welcome to Block Talk with Deanna. My name is Deanna Hansen, and I'm a certified athletic therapist and the founder of Fluid Isometrics and Block Therapy. And I'm here in LA today with Doug, and we're going to be talking about scoliosis. And over the next 5 days, I'm going to be practicing my technique, Fluid Isometrics, as well as with my nephew, Quinn Castellane. We will be putting Doug through the process of block therapy, and we're going to see in the next 5 days how much we transform your body. So, hi Doug, thank you so much for being
really
here
excited
and being
you're here.
Part of this. Me too.
So did both of you guys are here. Yeah, waited a long time for this stuff.
Yeah, why don't you share your story?
Well, I was diagnosed with scoliosis when I was a young teenager. At 14, I went to an orthopedic surgeon who basically did nothing each year. When I was 14, I had a 14-degree curve. And by the time I was like 15 or 16, I think I went to New York to meet a surgeon whose only solution, if you want to call it that, was to put the Harrington rod in my spine. My parents said, no way. And as a result of their doing nothing but waiting for this hurricane, which came, it just rotated. My spine went to about 29 degrees on the lower back and about 28 or 27 degrees on the upper curve. And for a while it didn't affect me, but when I was in my early 20s, it started getting very painful. So I finally discovered that I could go to a chiropractor because they didn't even mention anything about doing anything outside of drugs or surgery. It was good for a while. It lasted, and I believe, completely 100% in chiropractic. But even the chiropractor is saying it's not enough. You've got to do body work or something outside of this to strengthen your muscles and your ligaments that are now being stretched. So I went on a journey of, so many therapies, different forms of chiropractic, different forms of massage, and all had good effects, but ultimately temporary effects. But it started to dominate my life because with a scoliosis, someone could have a scoliosis that's 60 degrees and have no pain, and someone could have one that's 15 degrees and be crippled. And even though I did a lot of sports, did martial arts, swimming, so many sports, every time I started a program, I had to stop. Then I started working out, got in pretty good shape for a while, then would get a horrible injury. Eventually, my shoulder blew out. No one really thought, well, that's from the rotatory scoliosis. So it's just been a zigzag journey of little success and a lot of pain. And in the last year or two, it got very bad, where I just would get up in the day and my back would literally, as they say, go out. So at one point, when it was so bad and I was basically crippled, a friend of mine looked up, found you on the internet, and I saw the story of an 18-year-old boy who had a horrible scoliosis, far worse than mine, and his transformation was quite incredible. And of course, I was excited about doing it, but nervous, like, would it work, or whatever. But that's why I'm excited. I'm here with Deanna, and glad she came to California, and I'm like 110% in, because it makes sense to me what Deanna, what you speak about, you know, how you work it. Even my chiropractor that I go to now is one of the best in the world, who does a technique called NUCA, National Cervical Chiropractic. Yes, he can put the atlas in to put my head straight on, but he wants me to work on my tissue and so everything on your videos intrigued me to see, and here I am with you. So I'm beyond excited to get going, because it's been maybe a little sounding flippant, but it's been kind of a nightmare with that. I mean, even just a month or two ago, I got up, my back went out, and I'm crippled for 4 to 5 days, and I mean crippled, like it's tremendous pain.
So I imagine it's not only the physical issues that are afflicting your life.
No, scoliosis has a horrible mental effect on people, and the reason is because that cord pressure, you have that stretched cord, and your tissues are wrapped around this rotatory scoliosis. So it causes, I don't really get headaches, but it causes depression. It causes frequent, bouts of doubt. If I want to travel, I've got to figure out where a chiropractor is going to be, and it just kind of pulls you into yourself where you don't really do as much as you want to do. And I haven't been able to do much at all since I've had so many injuries along the way. I could start a workout program with the trainer, get in really good shape, and then make one move and my shoulder's blown out. They can't find it at any orthopedic surgeon. They do an x-ray, we can't see anything. Well, or they'll dig into it with a massage therapist. All good. Literally right now, my shoulder and in the my finger that I tore, nothing really gets better. It's temporary. It has a temporary effect. So when I saw what you were doing with that young boy, I mean, that's such a tremendous change on his scoliosis. That's phenomenal. I mean, and it's held. That's the key with scoliosis. That it doesn't. I did wonderful in a clinic I went to in Minnesota. I had about according to them, like a 61% change. That I brought it down from 29 and 28 or something to 11 and 13. And when someone is 10 degrees or under, they're not considered a scoliosis patient. But without doing up to, honestly, 3 hours of exercise a day, after a while you burn out. It just unravels. So now that I'm in a different type of chiropractic, I wouldn't call fluid isometrics concomitant. I say it's integral. It has to be. They have to be married together. That would sound like a supplement. This is just as important. So that's why I'm here with Deanna and Quinn, and more than excited to get going.
And you haven't done anything with me yet, so
we are
literally getting started.
Right.
As soon as we end this interview,
yep.
We're going to go for the next 5 days, and we're going to be tracking your progress live.
Yeah.
And we're going to be showing some of the techniques that we're doing, and a combination again of fluid isometrics, which is the technique I'll be doing with my hands and my body on you, and then showing you as well how to use the block. So once we're done, you have a program that you can do for the rest of your life to keep moving in that forward progressive direction. Yeah,
it's wonderful. And I've watched your videos. I've watched Quinn in the gym, and then utilizing the block, his block buddy afterwards. If he's working his chest, he'll put the block buddy there, which is what we call this, right? And to open up that tissue. But when you mentioned melting away scar tissue and the fascia, that hit me right away, because even my doctors who understand about the spine know that with the tissue so tightened up and the ligaments stretched in one area and one compressed, even when I'm in, it just starts to unwind. And they actually encouraging me to do this because I can go less to them, just once in a while, as opposed to each week. And almost like it reminds me of like the Tin Man. You put a little oil and he's good to go, and a couple days later he's tightened up again. And I don't want to be that. I want it to stretch those times out between Nuka and.
And what's so challenging is the fact that the tissue will compress and hold us out of alignment with a force of up to 2,000 pounds per square inch. Yeah. And I'm sure that actually makes total sense to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're trapped.
Yes.
You're trapped in the compression.
That's perfect adjective.
It's held. And
yes.
so we're going to be getting deep into that compression.
Excellent.
And decompressing it.
Yes.
Unwinding the entire body, not just the spine, but all of the tissue. Every one of your 100 trillion cells has a placement that should be accurate and correct. But yet the entire body winds down over time out of alignment. So that's what we're going to be doing, is a full body practice. Head to toe we're going to be working on.
Excellent.
And again, we're going to take some pictures of you before we start so that we make sure that we can see exactly where we're starting from. I know you've got x-rays and all that good stuff.
Yeah, but we're starting new.
But we're starting new.
And that made a lot of sense to me as well. I have a condition right now called a luxation, which is where I'm rotated enough, and that I believe this is correct, that the bone is actually, that it's slipping out.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was speaking to you in Canada many months ago, which I wish I would have started, and I thought, well, I wasn't testing you, but I was saying, you know, what can you do? Because how are we going to get this thing in? And you went right into about luxations. I'm like, okay, this is someone I got to meet because she knows her stuff, but you understand what scoliosis is. You can't push it out. You've got to unwind. It's like a corkscrew. You got to unwind the scoliosis. Even when they adjust me with precision accuracy, after it's still, we got to unwind the tissue. And when you were saying about melting away the scar tissue, the best thing I think I've heard is that you're trapped, and that's how I feel.
Yeah.
I feel trapped in this scoliosis. Like when I was working out, I mean, I was never as buff as Quinn, but I was in pretty good shape. No one would think I had scoliosis, but it wouldn't matter because it was just a glass wall for something that would happen. You make one wrong move, even if you're in terrific shape and you're doing, you know, you're bench pressing a lot of weight, you're swimming, you're doing your stretching, you reach over one day and your low back's out. And then I saw that one of the illustrations on your website where a man is hunched over and he's got his hand where in the left groin area, which means that your hips are rotated and you think you have a groin pull. Well, I've had that exact groin pull for 20 years. So even going to some top-notch orthopedic surgeons, they don't even look at it that way. You know, they would say, take painkillers, we can inject it. To what avail? Because once that wears off, you're right back where you started. That's like, that's my understanding of it.
So I have one question for you.
Yes.
5 days when we've completed our journey here, it's not going to end here because you
Yes.
have our whole health program and you're going to be
Yeah.
continuing on so that you
Right.
can continue to progress. But 5 days from now, when you no longer feel trapped, how is that going to affect your life?
It's going to change my life.
Yeah.
It's going to change my life. I mean, quite frankly, when I was considering going to Winnipeg to meet you, one of the delays, besides other things in my life, one of the big delays was, okay, I'll go see Deanna, but what happens when my spine goes out? Not even thinking that you are working on this problem. That's how my mind has, talk about trapped. Literally, I schedule my whole life around my back going out. Whether or not I was working out, swimming, on a routine. I mean, quite frankly, at LA Fitness, I have 125 training sessions waiting for me that I've put off for about 7 years. That's because I know each time I start, if I do an overhead press, I can't do that because of the scoliosis. Or if I do something with the rotator cuff, it's out. I mean, just this injury, if you want to call it, alone, there was never anything I did that blew my shoulder out. But yet I've had cortisone, tons of therapy on it, heat, laser, so many techniques, and name it, ice, everything, from the most exotic to the most mundane. And right now, I know that my shoulder, if I pull it here, it's super tight because that rotated spine and all that tissue that's holding it in there needs to be unlocked. And that's when I saw fluid isometrics, especially when I saw the video of that boy. That is phenomenal because 18, he's pretty much fully grown. And so changing that scoliosis where he was literally killing him. You know, they say that people with scoliosis, like someone like Kurt Cobain had scoliosis. And someone would say he died of a drug overdose. He died of scoliosis because he had such a bad scoliosis, he started taking painkillers. And then he got addicted to, because he was trapped. You know, look it up. He was a scoliosis patient. And several people we know have undergone the surgery. Once you do that surgery, there's no going back. You can't even, someone like Deanna, that's it, because the rod is in there and you can't do what you do to unwind it. But, you know, I'm rambling because I'm excited. I'm excited to get going. I wouldn't even call it a leap of faith. I believe in it. And I haven't even started, it hasn't even We haven't started, but I'm ready to do it.
Well, you know what? Let's get started.
Yeah.
Let's prove to you and the world that this is real and it's going to work, because I have no doubt what is going to happen over the next 5 days, and I promise you the freedom that you're going to feel is amazing.
It's great.
So
amazing.
We're going to keep you up to date through the days. We're going to even show you some of what we're doing so that you can actually see what the work is and how it works. We're working in the fascia. So thank you all so much for being here. And yeah, over the next 5 days, we're going to be just checking in, and I look forward to it.
We're looking forward to it. I'm
Thanks
looking
so much,
forward to
Doug.
it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, Deanna.
Okay.